Here we go again. YouTube has had its challenges recently, I can tell you. And I apologize for that. I might have lost you all. And if I'm going to keep talking, and if people pop back in, I'll continue on. And if not, I will call it a day. Oh, technology. I don't think it's on my end. I have a fiber optic 1 gigabyte cable connection. Okay, great. Thanks. I'm so glad you're back. Hello again. Technology. I don't know what I was talking about when things got disconnected. I didn't get it. I got a very tiny little alert at the top said it looks like the connection's been lost. So I'll keep on going. Don't know how we dropped out. Hey, I'm back. So what was I talking about? I was talking about myths, not sustainable. Did you guys hear that? I should be dead because I eat 40 eggs a week. That's right. That's another one. Oh my God. You're gonna, can you see my eggs? These are from our girls. I don't know how many we have right now. Yeah, that is pretty funny. Back now. Right. How many eggs do we eat a day? I don't know. I guess I could figure it out. And how many a week? Anywho, so yes, talking about myths. I can't remember the last one I said, but someone will say it's not sustainable. Well, I've been doing it for 6.5 years. Doctors will say it's not sustainable. Why would you say that to someone? It's like you go for your checkup and, oh, that's great. You've lost 22 pounds. Oh, and my goodness, your blood sugar's down. What are you doing? Oh, I'm following the ketogenic diet. Oh, well, that's not sustainable. Okay, so you're feeling better and you lose weight, which is what doctors tell us to do. And your blood sugar, your blood is getting better, your blood markers. And you're just, sorry, that's not sustainable. Would a doctor tell someone who has given up smoking and whose emphysema has, gotten a little bit better, they don't have the hacking cough anymore, and they gave up smoking, would you say, oh, that's great that you did that, but you'll never be able to stick to that? No, of course not. Wouldn't say that. Someone in our Patreon group, I have a Patreon group, and it's private, and I do about 20 videos a month. And then I do patron-only live streams, patron-only video group sessions, and patron-only one-on-ones. And I have a spreadsheet, a public spreadsheet that people can write topic suggestions, because I've done like 670 videos for Patreon. And they write topics, everything from, I don't know, everything. But one came up this week that the woman had, the person, I don't even know if it was a man or a woman, had sustained a hip injury. And their doctor said, you got to come off that keto so your bones can heal. Myth. That's another one. The high protein diet is going to wreck your kidneys and you'll break your bones. Not really true. For one thing, this is not a high protein diet. That's another myth. It's not a high protein diet. And it's not really a high fat diet. It's high fat only in that it's not low fat. I'll get to the next myth. So when you flip over from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, some things happen. Our kidneys can push out a lot of water. And with that can go minerals, and including calcium and sodium and magnesium and potassium. And so there can be a short-term issue with calcium and, bones. But once you get to the point where you're a fat burner and you're coasting along there, the research shows that calcium is actually absorbed better. So it can lead to improved bone health as we go along. And the kidneys, it's not a high protein diet. It's a moderate protein diet. We tend to self-regulate the protein we eat, whether we're a sugar burner or a fat burner. Humans just don't do well overeating protein. We tend to feel unwell. So it'll kind of be self-regulating. And what is that number? There is a range you can look up and calculate, but it's a very wide range. Again, so as to be essentially unusable or unuseful. It's just that you reduce the carbohydrate and what's left is the fat. So think about it as a teeter-totter. And the protein is right here. And it kind of is always the same. And the teeter-totter, if you take out, back in the low-fat days, if you take out the fat, what goes up? Carbohydrate or sugar. If you take out the carbohydrate, what composes the rest of what you're eating? Fat. So it's not a high-fat diet. So next myth, you have to pound back the fat to burn the fat. No, not the way it works. It's not the presence of the fat that works. It's the absence of the carbs. As a matter of fact, if you could overconsume dietary fat, meaning things like added fat, MCT oil, butter, cream, all that stuff in your coffee or your tea, exogenous ketones, just take an MCT oil straight up, fat bombs, things that really kind of aren't attached to the natural food. Eat the fat that comes with your protein choice, but you don't have to go seeking out more fat. If you're over-consuming dietary fat, even if you're burning body fat for fuel, if you're burning fat for fuel, if you're burning fat for fuel, but you're over-consuming dietary fat, your body does not need to tap into the onboard stores. So you can be eating as close to zero carb as is possible and not lose weight or put on weight. What? That's another myth. If you start this, the weight will drop off of you. It does for some people at the beginning, particularly guys. Yep. It just does. It's just the way it is. But that's kind of a myth. You don't do it and then fit into a size 6 by the end of the summer if you started out as a size 22. So in an effort to speed things up, some people will load up on the fat. Sorry, make sure it's not my husband. No, it's not. Another myth is that keto fixes everything. No, it doesn't. Jokingly, I say, I'm still really short. And there's some, if you have a chronic medical condition that is not metabolically driven, there might be some differences there. If you're in a bad relationship, it might get worse when you're on keto because you might start feeling better about yourself and your partner may not love that. If you hate your job, this may not help it. So it doesn't fix everything in the world, but it can certainly take a couple of worries off our list. And you don't need to buy special products for this to work. Not one. Nothing. Not even a Go Keto with Casey t-shirt, which I'm sure is linked below. This is IC and IW. I can and I will. Go Keto with Casey. There's no product that will jog this along for you. Think about it. It's kind of illogical. If what you want to do is burn body fat and bring down your blood sugar, and if what does that is reducing carbohydrate sufficiently, how will adding in another product help that? Sorry. Let me put this on silent. It's like, some people want to test. They want to see a positive test when they're testing for ketones, whether it's urine or blood or whatever. Well, if all you want to do is show ketones in your urine, yeah, go ahead and drink some exogenous ketones. But that's just expensive pee. It's like if what you really want is to be pregnant and you want a positive pregnancy test, and if there was a product where you could just drink something and get a positive on your pregnancy test, yay, but it doesn't make you pregnant. So, exogenous ketones meaning outside of the body. We have endogenous ketones right on board on our bodies. I want to ask you guys, now, assuming we're all still connected, what are some of the either questions you have that you're concerned about or things you've heard people tell you? A Taylor Renovation Investing, Anna, Cleveland, Ohio. How high was your A1C when you started this mission? Okay, let me see if Anna has said something. Hi, Twyla. Okay, I'm sorry. There are a lot of questions. I wish I could slow this down. Cat Cookie writes, hi, Casey. Yeah, Judy Tucker writes, also, I'm 67 and I lost 130 pounds. And she works. We have a private hidden Facebook group for patrons only. And Judy, people post, what am I looking at today? What's my view today? Here, they ask questions. I need some help. They reach out for a little support, whatever. Judy will post photos of the things they're doing at their farm. And it's amazing. And they never stop going. And then she just posted a video of crop dusting in Iowa where the plane went under the power lines. Eesh, my husband is a general aviation pilot. And if I ever get wind that he tried to do something like that on purpose, I would have a conversation with him. Julie Morgan writes, I got back on page 2 of Dr. Westman's plan, had lost 10 pounds in a week, feel great. And I don't know whether there's another publication, but we call it page 4 instead of page 2. Darylyn writes, and this is a quote, oh, I can't give up rice, potatoes, sugar in my morning coffee, tortillas, baked potatoes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Grown. Yeah, people say that because they believe it. And I'm not casting aspersions. I knew low carb worked for me since 1977 when I first got a copy of The Atkins Diet Revolution by Dr. Robert Atkins. By the way, fun fact, I lost the pounds I wanted to lose when I was a sophomore in college, never, threw the book away. I'm now actually friends with the woman that ran that clinic with Dr. Atkins, Jackie Eberstein. We're actually friends. You never know what life is going to bring you. And this is another thing. One reason I do this, I had a really lucrative career and was good at it. But one reason I do this is because I recognized in myself that I had sold myself short, no pun intended, for decades because of the way I felt about myself and because of the way I felt my looks influenced other people. And let's face it, it's like every 20 pounds of overweight, someone thinks you've lost 10 IQ points. And I was never insecure about my intellect, but I sold myself short. And I thought my best was behind me. And I thought, well, when this all started and I started feeling better, and then I talked to people around me and then they were impacted, and then I made a couple of videos, I realized how many people had given up on their own lives. And that if we could share our stories with each other and impact other people, that is what I wanted to do. Talman writes roughly, if you save one soul, you're said to have saved the world. May not be saving souls, but we might be retrieving someone's happiness and productivity and creativity and contributions to society and to their families and to themselves. That is not a myth. That is a fact. But anyway, I knew it worked for me. But as I got older and then I needed to lose more weight, I lost the 12 pounds and I was really cute. I was in my 20s, or teens and 20s. And then my mid-20s, I put on a lot of weight with the pregnancy and birth of our second child. And it never came off. It just kept I got heavier and heavier. And over the years, as I would consider low carb, I'd say, but I can't give up pizza. I can't give up pasta. I can't give up tortilla chips. That was my big thing. I can't. And I couldn't until I did. So we tell ourselves we can't do something. And guess what? We can't do that thing because we have told ourselves we cannot. But guess what? I can and I will. And now I should get one that says I could and I did. And you can too. Citrine 42, I'm starting keto and I'm starting by simply not buying bread or fruit at the store and only meat and veggies. You know, my husband, who's from Colombia, South America, and he's never had a weight problem, but he saw the improvements in me over time. About 6 months into it, he was like, wow. Plus, he heard the lectures on athletic performance because I was hearing lectures by Finney and Volek, and he's a cyclist. That piqued his interest. So one day he just came in. I was still baking bread every Sunday for him. I had been baking it for us, and then I started baking it for him because I stopped eating bread. I ground the wheat berries and made the whole wheat bread. He said, let's do this last loaf of bread. What? He said, and don't buy any more rice or beans. What? We bought rice 50 pounds at a time and beans 25 pounds at a time because rice and beans and potatoes, a staple in Colombia for like two or three meals a day, rice and beans and potatoes and other things. He said, I'm gonna do what you're doing. I was stunned. That I was great. So we just didn't get any more, just like what you're saying, Citrine. You just start by that. And it's amazing how you get out of the habit of even wanting it. Grand Sobe, not going to take meds for them because I now care about my body because of this way of eating. Not taking any meds for anything. Blood markers are great. That's victory. You know, it's almost like it doesn't matter what size jeans you're wearing. If you can get off all of medications, because they all can, have side effects, that's great. Not to mention the money savings. Even if your insurance covers it, somebody's paying for the medication. It's coming out of somewhere. The pharmaceutical industry is not a charitable group. Arizona girl writes, I found after 17 months on keto that if I taste something sweet, it shocks me how sweet it is. I don't seem to need the sweet kick now. Thank you for your help. 42 pounds lost. I'm 73. Huzzah! I walked in. I have not been into many grocery stores recently because I just don't like retail in general. But I needed to go into a store a few months ago. And I guess I was going to get Splenda. Yes, we use Splenda. And they didn't have it at Costco, which is where we usually shop. So I went to a grocery store. I went down the baking aisle to get Splenda. And just the smell in the baking aisle of the packaged food now. It was so cloying. I was like, oh my gosh, I almost got like a contact headache from the frosting and the cookie mixes. Oh, by the way, now they've come up with, yes, you can eat cookie dough. It's edible now. And they show a mother feeding her child chunks of cookie dough. What are we doing to our kids? Heather writes, you mean you don't eat fruit? Was that a joke? Fruit is not on page 4. Okay, it jumps around for me. I'm a teacher, and the crap parents give kids is shocking. Yeah. Hopefully that'll be turning. Hopefully that will be turning. If I had it to do over again, we would have been a keto family from the get. But I didn't know. Oh, what my friends asked me. Okay, yeah, like it's not a myth, but it's a recurring question. What? No fruit? Fruit is good for you. Says who? The fruit growing industry does. Fruit is sugar. It's just sugar. Dr. Westman calls it nature's candy. It is. You think about 100 years ago, getting an apple or an orange at Christmas time was a treat. Oh my gosh, people would put it in their Christmas stockings because it was a treat. Now Christmas stockings are chock full of candy bars and M&Ms and stuff. But it used to be an occasional treat because it was hard to get to. Most of the world did not live around the equator. Okay, now travel and learn. Is this a question or something you hear? How do you get your nutrition and keep the cravings from coming back? Okay, how you keep the cravings from coming back is you don't feed the cravings. I'm sorry, but it is that direct. Stop feeding the cravings. If you keep feeding them, they keep coming back like a stray cat. If you don't want that stray cat to come back to your door, don't feed it. And I speak from experience. Luna, our side yard kitty, stray cat, we fed it. She's been living in our side area on the porch in the yard for 17 years. We did bring her to the vet to get fixed because we didn't want more little stray kitties. So if you just have to get through the cravings, that's it. You just have to get through them and stop feeding them, and then you stop having them. Jennifer James, Citrine, you are on keto now. How are you feeling? And I have hypothyroidism. Citrine, I grew up in a sad diet. My mom now has diabetes and my sister is pre-diabetic. Yeah, and we were all heading that way. I didn't do this for weight loss. I started this because I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes, and I knew my next medical checkup, that's what it was going to be. We were going to have the talk. And I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I've been diagnosed and treated for cancer 3 times in my life. The first time when I was pregnant with our 3rd child. And I could somehow, I've said this before, in my brain, I could justify having to tell my kids, I'm going to die of cancer. But I couldn't stand the thought of having to tell them that I'm going to lose a foot or a kidney or my eyesight from type 2 diabetes. And I didn't want to take insulin. So I Googled how to not take insulin for type 2 diabetes, came across the white coat video of Dr. Eric Westman. By the way, we're friends now, which is really awesome. And it was just so simple. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day, total, not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. He said a little different. He said, eat when you're hungry. I say, don't eat if you're not hungry, and stop when you're satiated. And that was it. Renee Scott, the cravings and hunger go away with the protocol. Correct. Twyla writes, Karen, I've been able to reduce my thyroid medication. I'm hoping to get off all of it someday. Lee, I'm not going to repeat that because that's not proved yet. There's studies, but it's not proved. Karen Komoski, anyone able to quit taking levothyroxine eating this way? Thinking of starting keto, been watching you and learning, Casey, for past month. Need to lose 50 pounds at 58 years old. Thank you for all you do. I cannot speak to that medication, but maybe someone else can. Okay, so Travel and Learn writes, hi, Casey, I live in Arkansas. Are there any doctors that I can go to with this protocol? Thanks. That question comes up about, are there keto doctors or keto-friendly doctors where I live? Go to Dr. Westman's website or the dietdoctor.com. They have a list that they've compiled of keto-friendly doctors where they have been able to get them. But here's the thing. You don't have to go to a doctor that approves of the protocol unless your doctor would fire you. Say, I'm not going to treat you if you do this. Oh, okay. What are they going to do? Follow you around and swat, pieces of bacon out of your hand? My doctor was skeptical, and now she's like, whatever you're doing, keep it up. So you might be able to inform your doctor. Suggest they read The Art and Science of Low Carbohydrate Living by Dr. Stephen Finney and Jeff Volek. It will explain why the way a lot of doctors were trained was simply incorrect. It is just that simple. Jennifer James writes, love Dr. Westman's video. I have shared it and page 4 to many people He's an inspiration. You are so helpful also with all your videos. Thank you. By the way, speaking of Dr. Westman, Tuesday of this week, the online version of the Durham support group meeting, and I believe there is a link below. Maybe not. I'll have to add it. I can't remember if I did or not. On Crowdcast, and I help moderate those with him. So it's a registered event, 6:30 to 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesday. It's always the first Tuesday of the month. He's been doing these for years, but recently they've become online for obvious reasons. But also, we just had a little powwow and Dr. Westman's keto retreat in Beaufort, North Carolina, the second one. We had one in January this year. It was questionable whether we would do another one January 2021, but it's on. It is feasible. I will try to put the registration for that as well. By the way, my patrons I'm sponsoring a discount for them. It was a blast, and it is limited seating. It's not like all the other conferences that have been had around the world. This is very different, and it's a lot of fun. Music and dancing. Wish we had a retreat in Arkansas. So sorry about the snafu halfway through. Answer me a question, because I went out and relaunched another stream. Did you guys get a second notification that there was another stream, or did you just hang out in the original stream and I popped back in? Can you answer that for me? I'm curious. Christina Govea writes, started keto in January and was taking lisinopril 20 milligrams with HCTZ. Now I have been reduced to just 10 milligrams without HCTZ. Love hearing about the medical successes. Okay, got second note. Jennifer writes, piped back. I got a second notification. Okay, thank you for that. I assumed so, but everyone popped back in so quickly, I was surprised. And did you know that there are 500 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute? Yes, 500 hours uploaded to YouTube every minute. So if their servers or whatever get a little hinky, I'm not too surprised. All right, I'm going to close off. Got things to do. I lost my train of thought because of the technical issue. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. Well, it's not an easy way to do it. You can do it through my blog. You can put them in comments below the videos if there are topics you'd like for future live streams, and we'll go from there. And if you like public free content, thank a patron. It's the patrons who make it possible for me to have left my former career and do this. So thank you very much. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Cover your face. Keep a little distance. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Total, not net. If it's not on page 4, don't eat it. Don't eat it if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That is all.